Can you actually use real estate as a side hustle? Turns out you can. In fact, there are 3 most popular side hustles that you can do in the game of real estate.
Hey, Kris.
Pam, how we doing? Guys, this is special guest Pam Bardhi. She makes money with all 3 of these side hustles. She's gonna help me teach you all of them today.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
All right, we are back, and today we are talking with Pam Bardhi about this. We're talking about the top 3 real estate side hustles, and you might not know who Pam is, but you're about to, because guess what? She kills at making money with all 3 of these. So Pam, let's talk about you for just a second, because we're about to talk about these amazing side hustles, because I know what you want to know. How do I leverage real estate to make all this extra money? But first, who is Pam Bardhi?
Pam Bardhi is the underdog. So I came to the United States when I was 5 years old. My parents built everything from the ground up. I have built a 9-figure real estate career in the last 7 years, and literally I started in real estate at 21 years old when I had 2 restaurants.
Well, and the world's starting to take note, right? I mean, like, you've been written up in Forbes and Times, and like, you're starting to get some press release, not to mention you got your podcast that came out, and in the first 30 days made the top 1% in new and noteworthy.
Yes, and now we're in the top 1.5% in the world of
Wow.
podcasts.
So I think what makes today a little bit more interesting for me is that you got in the game of real estate and then you decided to get an advanced degree from Harvard's Business School, graduated there, and so you've got all the credentials, but frankly, your best credentials is your MBA. I'm talking about your massive bank account.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And learning the game of real estate and how diverse it is.
I gotta tell you, Pam, though, when my team came to me and said, hey, Kris, everyone wants to get some information on whether real estate can be a side hustle, I kind of doubted it. I thought, man, is real estate really, does it really qualify as the definition of a side hustle? Let me come to you on this one. Do you think real estate works as a side hustle?
Real estate absolutely works as a side hustle. You could be in it full-time, you could be in it part-time, you could be working, have a full-time job, and even do 1 deal a year. Real estate can work for anybody.
So what is it that really makes real estate then a side hustle? Check this out. Apart from building wealth, the most compelling part of real estate is how little time it can actually take. While good real estate investing takes smart strategies and hard work, it also lets your money work for you, allowing you the time to continue building wealth in other areas. And I have to tell you, Pam, when I got started in the game of real estate, it really rapidly became a full-time thing for me. And I wanted to gamify it until I could get to the point where I could make as much money as possible by barely lifting a pinky of 10 minutes. In your opinion, as you get better at the game, can you literally get more leverage? Does it take less time to make more money? What's your experience been like?
So the magical thing about real estate is there's 2 ways to make money. There's active income and passive income. So you can make money different ways depending on the different time that you have available. That's what makes it so magical. Magic in the air.
Wait a second, Pam. What do you mean by active income and passive income?
Active income is when you are actively working to make your income. Like, for example, like wholesaling real estate, flipping properties, doing this kind of stuff where you're exchanging time for money. Whereas passive income is when you sleep and your money works for you, and that is the most magical thing, my friends.
Magic in the air.
Let's talk about the first hustle in the game of real estate. It's called wholesaling. Pam, you've done some of that, right?
I have.
In real estate wholesaling, a wholesaler contracts a home with a seller, then finds an interested party to buy it. The wholesaler contracts the home with the buyer at a higher price than the seller and keeps the difference as profit. Real estate wholesalers generally find and contract distressed properties. Pam, tell us about one of your deals.
Absolutely. So wholesaling, it can sound extremely complicated. I promise you it is not. So a deal that I did right outside of Boston, a seller came to me with a distressed property, and basically she said, okay, I would like to sell this property for $300,000. So I was like, okay, great. I got it under agreement for $300,000. But at the time I had about 5 projects happening all at the same time. So what I wanted to do was still leverage this deal, but also still finish my other deals. How do you do that? Wholesaling. So I got it under agreement for $300,000. And then I looked to some of my investor friends who were looking for deals actively. And I said, okay, cool. Would you be interested at $320,000 in this property? They ran their numbers. And of course, the deal is always when you purchase the property. So analyze your numbers well, my friend. But $320,000. I flipped the contract over to the other developer. They ended up closing. I made a $20,000 profit. That's how wholesaling works. It's literally flip of a contract.
So check out what Pam just explained. It's called wholesaling. And to make it really simple for you, the first step is that you want to get a deal under contract. Hopefully it's at a really good price. Then what you can do is you can take it to other investors and you can mark it up a little bit and basically make an offer for them to take advantage of the great deal that you got under contract at a slightly higher price. When they say yes and they go and actually buy it, there's going to be that leftover money that comes back to you. That's the difference. That, my friend, is actually what you get to keep. And think, you did all that without taking any money out of pocket.
So I get this deal under contract, let's say for $100,000. And then I'm thinking, okay, I have too many deals happening right now, but I know my friend Kris. Kris, would you like to buy this house for $110,000?
I would love to buy this house for $110,000, Pam. Buy it and looks like the extra $10,000 falls back to you when I make the purchase. Second side hustle opportunity for you in the game of real estate is by using primary residence to invest in more real estate. As in, Pam, people that own real estate in America, do you think this last year their house has gone up in value?
Their houses have gone up in value, and that just makes me take my glasses off because that is the magic ticket, my friends. Equity is everything.
So think about this for just a second. Let's just say that you bought a house for $300,000. Guess what happened this last year? It may have gone up to $400,000, maybe $450,000, and they could go back to the bank and get access to some of that money.
They absolutely can, and that is what you consider equity. And basically, as your real estate appreciates, you can go to any bank and say, hey, I own this piece of real estate. Here's what I owe. Here's what it's worth now. Let's take some equity out, and you can utilize that money to go out and buy more real estate. And that is what you call your money working for you.
Do you own a piece of real estate, or do you know somebody that owns real estate? Look at what's happened in the market. They maybe had a house that they bought for $300,000. Maybe that's what they owe to the bank. But the prices have gone up so dramatically in the last 18 months that that same house today literally might be worth, we'll call it $500,000. If you go to a bank, they'll generally allow you to access up to 80% of the value of that home. And in this case, 80% of $500,000 is 400 grand. Well, if I subtract my $500,000 value from what the bank will allow me to access up to, and I only owe 300, that's a difference ultimately of $100,000 that the bank could give me. Now I know what you're thinking, Kris. If I borrow $100,000, the bank is going to charge me for that. Rates are at a 50-year low. The money's really cheap, but you know, you're right. You've got to do something with that money to justify it. So guess what you do? You could go out and buy a couple of properties that have a positive cash flow, and all of a sudden, that positive cash flow can pay the difference. Now you have 3 properties going up in value. You have 3 times the tax write-offs, and if you've done it right, you've got even more cash flow than you had before.
Kris, let me tell you about a time where I utilized my primary residence as a vehicle for financial freedom. So the first property I ever bought was a 2-family, right? So I bought it, $500,000 in Boston, and basically I had a tenant that was on the other side for 13 years. So essentially, what he paid for rent was my entire mortgage. So I bought it at the right number, utilized the income next door to pay for the entire mortgage. Now, when I move out of my unit, so first off, I'm living for free. Second off, my tenant is paying my mortgage. And third off, when I leave and exit this property, the unit that I live in can now be utilized for the single family property. So that is another way that you can utilize your primary residence by not being a sophisticated real estate investor and utilize it in your world. And that, my friends, is powerful.
And let's talk about the third way that you can leverage real estate as a side hustle. And that's by becoming a real estate agent. A real estate agent is a licensed professional who arranges real estate transactions, putting buyers and sellers together and acting as the representative in negotiations. Using the right kind of real estate agent allows an expert to find and collect great deals while you get to reap maximum profit. And Pam, you know all about this because you have your real estate license and you've used it to make not a small amount of money.
Yes. So there is another way, a third way in which you can make money in real estate. And this is what I realized. I went into real estate development Literally, I just wanted to flip houses. And then what I found was another opportunity and a different way to make some extra money, which is getting my real estate license and helping others buy and sell their assets as well, which at the end of the day adds up at the end of the day, especially one of my biggest deals landing at $37.5 million.
Wait. You were the agent, the representing agent on a $37.5 million?
Yes.
What was your commission on that?
Close to $1 million.
$1 million.
And that's just in brokerage, not even including anything I've done in development. It's pretty powerful. It could be literally a side hustle for you, my friends, and that's exactly what it was for me. This is a powerful tool for you because we talked about wholesaling first, and that is a strategy that's more off market. Being a real estate agent is more on market, so you can bring maximum value to your clients through doing that. So you have two different ways in which you can make this happen. These side hustles happen, and it's amazing.
So what Pam's saying is that you can be an investor. You can take money from equity in a home and put it to work. You could play the game of wholesaling that doesn't require any money. And you might also say, hey, you know what? There's a third side hustle that could be built in here. If I go and get my realtor's license, then when I'm hustling all this real estate anyway, I might find some people along the way that say, hey, I got my house for sale. Will you list it for me? Or you might have someone that says, hey, I'm trying to find property. Will you help me? And in the real estate world, you can pick up a 3% commission on any deal. So if you transact a $500,000 house, 3% is $15,000. Not a bad side hustle.
Not a bad side hustle at all.
That, my friend, is 3 different side hustles that you can find in the game of real estate. And yet there's so many more ways of making money. Here's my big question though. Do you have a basic step-by-step guide, a system for making your first $1 million in real estate? If you don't, it's your lucky day. I'm giving you mine for free. I wrote this book years ago after people kept saying, Kris, how'd you become financially free at the age of 26? How'd you make all that money so fast? Well, today I've made a lot more money, and this book still holds up in today's economy as the best system for how anyone can start with nothing and make their first or 10th million in the game of real estate. There's a link below. If you click it, there's an opportunity for me to send this to you for free. Just cover the shipping and handling, and it's yours. You know, Pam, I think the bigger question today on people's mind is, okay, if I own real estate, are you saying that right now I should be buying more, or shouldn't I just sell it off and cash in?
Don't you dare sell your property.
In fact, Pam's right. It'd be a really bad idea to try to sell, not just because of the economy we're in. It's more if you don't really understand that real estate can be a real vehicle for creating wealth. If you don't get why you should never sell, check out this video, click it, and I'll give you all the reasons. Hey, and there she is. Turns out that my friend Pam Bardhi, bringing the party, is going to be teaching us today those 3 side hustles.
Hey everybody! Okay, a little awkward. Let's up the energy. And
Do we
let's
need to go
up-
faster?
Yes, faster.
Okay.
And Pam should interrupt you as she's